edition of Cedrus Knowledge Series. Throughout the year, we have invited eminent speakers speaking on a variety of topics ranging right from finance to well being. We are grateful for all the support that we have received, and we will continue to bring you the knowledge and experience of many such speakers. This is a small video dedicated to all our speakers in the 1 year journey. For the anniversary edition of Cedrus Knowledge Series, we are extremely honored to have with us Ma Anand Sheela, a renowned author, spokeswoman of the Rajneesh movement, and the former secretary of Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. Currently, she lives in Switzerland, where she runs two old age homes for the mentally ill, disabled, and the elderly. She has also established similar homes in Vietnam and Mauritius. A very warm welcome, Ma Anand Sheela. Here is a short clip of her introduction. I would now like to hand over to Mr. Nilesh Bajaj for taking the session ahead.
Sheila, it's wonderful to have you between us. And in fact, this is the anniversary edition. And we are extremely delighted to have you between us. Uh, you have written two books, Don't Kill Him by My Own Rules. There's a widely acclaimed Netflix series, Wild Wild Country, which I'm sure a lot of our audiences have already seen. Uh, the movie Searching for Sheila, which has come, in fact, recently. And on top of it, your memorable interview with Karan Johar uh, after your return to India after almost 34 years. Uh, all this in the very recent past, in fact. And do you feel the moment of reckoning has come? I'm sure the journey was not very easy, and building your life back from scratch. So tell us more about it, Ma Anand Sheela.
No journey is easy. And I don't see a journey in terms of easy or difficult. Because if you see any journey as easy or difficult, you won't reach your goal. My goal was to survive, to live through where whole world had negated me, and to use the teachings of Bhagwan to help me come out of it. And that's exactly what happened. My situation had put Bhagwan's teaching to a test. And I tell you, his teachings fly in first class way because I'm alive, breathing, still creative, and talking to you all. It had its moment of difficulties, but it also had the solution right next to it. What happens is, difficult moment, we are consumed by difficulties instead of governing and managing the difficulties that bring solution. That's where we forget to focus. I was lucky I was able to do that I could focus. When I was in prison, I thought of only three people. There is Bhagwan and my parents, who were my focus. These are the three people I love very much in my life. And these are the three people who have guided me through life. So I took them as my best guide to go through this jungle of negativity that I had landed myself in, where the whole world had rejected me. And my character was completely assassinated. So I had to say, so be it, the storm is here. Now learn to swim through the storm or drown. And I managed it. I used every teaching in Bhagwan's life that could work on me. I used it. And I sailed through the difficult moments. One of the most important moments was time. The spiritual journeys talk about timelessness and space. You are everywhere. There's no specific space. And I was non-spiritual. I'm still non-spiritual. But I understood in prison, everyone talks about time. In world, everybody is making appointments and talks about time. But they don't know how to use the time. They feel stressed under time. And that was my first achievement in my prison time, where I learned about time. We use time to manipulate people. No. In prison, you have to understand time. And you have to find a way to go through it. So I wrote every day my parents a letter. Every day. That was one of my biggest routine. because I knew that my imprisonment was much difficult for my parents. It is so for every parent. And I wanted to let them know every moment how I was feeling. So, and the same time comes so handy now, this practice of knowing time when I work with my residents, because that's how I build uh, their respect, I build their self-confidence by being available to them constantly.
In fact, in your book also, the newly launched book, By My Own Rules, you have very clearly mentioned about how you had not given your time to your parents, and how you gave time to them in their old age when you were together with them. In fact, one thing which is there is, your go-getting attitude. You cared a damn about what opinion people actually carried about yourself, and you lived life on your own terms. In fact,
This
you
is
speak
how
more than
true.
words, and I'm sure you have managed to erase a lot of negative memories which people had about you in their minds. In fact,
I That is my reality. I don't want to actively raise anybody's opinion or so, but it would be unfair to life if I participate in those opinions, those negative opinions. So
right.
I prefer to uh, be positive. I have always been positive, and now even more aware positive.
Absolutely.
And that is such a tool to have in life to combat
Hmm.
the all the negativity that exists in the world, to
Hmm.
just go over it.
Absolutely. Coming to, I'll take you to the second question, is your life with Bhagwan, in fact. And it's widely been controversial. It's rife with controversies and enigma. Uh, you have been a spokesperson of the Rajneesh movement. And, you have later been headlined in controversy, in the Rajneesh commune controversy at Vasco County, Oregon, which led you to imprisonment. In fact, would you like to tell something about the unconditional love you carried for Bhagwan? In fact, which you even mentioned today, in spite of so many ups and downs you have gone because of the Rajneesh movement. In fact, so would you like to tell something about it?
The love I felt for Gwan, it was a rare event in my life. When I saw him, suddenly in that moment, life and death became one.
Hmm.
If death would have come to me in that very moment, I was ready. I had lived a complete life then,
Mm.
in that very small moment of our meeting together in Bombay, I was.
Right.
Um, and after that, Bhagwan has been surrounding my being, my person.
Mm.
All I wanted to be is in his vicinity. in his fragrance. And I had no other interest of achieving or non-achieving, or people accuse me of many things, but it's not of importance. Just being near him. If he's talking, listen to his beautiful voice. If I'm near him, just to look at him was plenty for me. And I cannot tell you how it has changed my whole being. I had no fear. I wasn't afraid to die. I wasn't afraid to leave. And to live near Bhagwan was absolute preference. Even today, my bedroom surrounds with Bhagwan's photos, these beautiful moments that I have had with him. And it was a love that you cannot barter for security. It was a love that had no boundaries. In his name, I can conquer the world. And I almost did it, or had glimpses of it.
So would you give actually, the credit to all what you learned with when you were with Bhagwan, to how you faced all the difficulties which came across later on, to the teachings, to what you learned from with Bhagwan?
Of course, I have learned from Bhagwan, and in many ways, what I am a product of my parents and refined by Bhagwan, polished by Bhagwan. It was the opportunity he gave me as his secretary to work with him and work with this very clear individual.
Coming to, yeah, uh,
Please.
you know, yeah. I'm sorry, there is, I think, a little bit of internet connectivity issue, in fact. So I think there is a lag which is taking. But are you okay?
I am okay. I don't hear much. There was a moment that I heard a disturbance, but it is okay. You wanted to ask me something.
Yeah. uh, can you hear me? Mark,
Yes, I
Anand,
can
can you,
hear you.
Sheila, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, I
Yeah.
hear you
Okay.
very well.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Coming to the third question actually is, you were imprisoned for about 39 months, in fact. Tell us something more about, what prompted the authorities, when they had imprisoned you for 20 years, to release you in 39 months, in fact. And what did you do in 39 months? How did you actually come out of that situation, in fact?
I came out of the situation because I felt very much that it's time I must be out. And I'm a person who follows my intuition. My social worker in prison never believed that I could be accused of the crimes they accused me of. He said he has worked all his life in prison environment. He can tell a criminal from a distance. And when he saw me, he said, "You don't have a bone of criminality in you." I said, "You haven't read your files. you know. And I asked him, when I had this strong feeling I must go out of here. I said, can I not do something for prison that you allow me some extra days, good days? So he thought about it, and then he said, you can save money to the prison. You can be allowed few extra days. And I said, what
Right.
can I do? So I was looking around prison, and it had very dirty walls and
Right.
not friendly. So I said,
Right.
I can paint your prison. And I did that with one brush, one roller, no ladder to climb up, because things that people can use for escaping, they would not give. And there were some officers who would not let all the people out of the cell to do something either, because they don't want to take the risk that they run away. But I managed it. It took me a whole month and a half or 2 months to paint the complete unit. And I did freehand cuts with brush on the windows and doors without tape, without anything. And I that put me into Christmas kick out. It gave me 30 days. Good. Because I saved about $150,000 for them to repaint it. The building was never painted again after it was created. And that put in a Christmas kick out, and there I went. But I put my mind to it.
So your experience at Rajneeshpuram as building Rajneeshpuram came handy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that saved you a lot of time not being in prison.
Exactly. And it
So, you know,
was important to be out.
right, absolutely. No, in fact, it's a wonderful, I've seen Wild Wild Country and the whole journey which you went through. There were, I think, according to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, you have lived for 4 lives in one life till now. Okay.
Minimum.
Yeah, minimum 4 lives, which I can relate to actually. So
Right.
one is with your parents, uh, the other is with Bhagwan.
Right.
Uh, your third life was in prison, in fact, and now you're dedicating your life to the cause of the old people with degenerative illnesses. In fact, how do
Right.
you describe this journey of perseverance and love? And it's been wonderful. People can't live one life in a life, and you have already lived for minimum 4 lives, in fact. And I'm sure it's wonderful to listen from you, in fact.
Yeah, I think I just went with the life in its own flow without saying, I want this or I want that. However, the day came, I accepted it. And I
Hmm.
accept it in every situation. It's like when I sit to eat. I
Hmm.
don't say I want this or that. Whatever comes on my plate, I
Hmm.
eat it gratefully in a simple way. And
Hmm.
it is so essential that when you
Hmm.
accept life for what it is, then
Hmm.
suddenly you you are choiceless, and it makes you less stressful. It is
Hmm.
desire that makes you stressful. I had other day an email where somebody was saying, oh, life is so difficult, life is so difficult in this way. And I said,
Hmm.
I have not seen life that is not difficult. And yet we have the life, we must live it. We cannot just complain about difficult, difficult. And if it is difficult, do something about it. The choice is also yours.
Hmm.
So people have to make right choices. And I got
Right.
lucky intuitively making right choices. It was my
Hmm.
good luck.
No, but I always, whenever we have talked or whenever I've seen you, you have always had this positive vibe around you. You don't like negative words. What I've seen means, you always like to have the positivity which keeps flowing through your actions or your words also. In fact, so anything which is, if I tell you, Ma Anand Sheela, are you uncomfortable? So Sheila, I'm extremely comfortable. Don't worry. I'm comfortable. In fact, so the thing is, these are small things which actually, which actually have helped you, come to where you are today. In fact, and your fourth life actually, which you're right now, uh, going through, which is basically the two old age homes you're managing in Switzerland. Apart from that, you have helped set up quite a few charities also. In fact, this is something which, would you call this your the best of your four lives, or which would you term as the best life you had?
Um, my childhood near my parents and sibling was very joyful and very simple under the wings of parents to live. Then near Bhagwan, suddenly the world opened up to go get it. And then when I realized that love should not be the weakness, but the strength, which it was for me, and I decided to walk away from Bhagwan, where a very difficult time of my life came. And I must walk through that. I did, and then I created my own legacy of caring for people, which I was good at. Can you hear me, Nilesh?
Uh,
Can you hear me?
yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now in my old age, I'm simply enjoying being here with my residents.
Hmm.
Once in a while, when COVID allows me to visit, then I go to visit Mauritius uh,
Hmm.
or Vietnam. Vietnam is not open yet, so I haven't been in COVID. But when it happens, I will.
Yeah, no, we would actually love you, to come over to India and help us set up one of the centers which you are successfully running in Switzerland also. Because, like, I mentioned in our previous talks also, India is going to age. And I think we have had a lot of charity which has gone towards child education, child care, girl care, but not a lot of focus has actually happened on the old age related issues, in fact. And I'm sure we would have we would have a requirement of these kind of old age homes in India also, in fact, which are not too many right now, in fact.
I have written a book on
Hmm.
caring for people from
Hmm.
the experience that I have lived in Switzerland, uh,
Hmm.
because I live in the same house with my residents. Just
Hmm.
the way they live, I live. Only difference is I take some responsibility and they are not burdened by responsibility. That's the
Absolutely.
only difference. And
Hmm.
this book, unfortunately, is in German. Maybe
Hmm.
somebody will translate it in English, then it can become the guideline for
Hmm. Hmm.
anyone to,
True.
because I put the structure a bit in it and how I came to it.
True. Because old age homes with old age people having dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, this is something which I think, as we progress, these are the typical old age issues which people are going to have. And we would love, if the book gets translated, so that it can help many in India also to set up these kind of old age homes in India, in fact. Coming to one more thing is, in your book, by my own rules, you speak about 18 rules, and about 18 rules which have guided you in your life. uh, my one of my favorite quotes which you have mentioned in the book is that if you cannot change the situation, don't complain.
Right.
Okay. You know, can you elaborate more than that? Because it's something which I think is more to do with your own personality. In fact, you have never, I'm sure you have never complained in your life. You have always embraced change. You have brought the change more than embracing change. So could you elaborate more on this, in fact?
Yes, I feel the complaints are basically coming from non acceptance of the situation. So, when, and complaints are always uh, towards others.
Hmm.
And I remember my mother always, when we were children, say, when you point a finger at somebody, three fingers are pointing at you, your own.
Hmm.
And that is so true. To say, oh, this is not right. Good, I accept not right, then do something about it and make it right.
Hmm.
In a small way, we walk through the house, we see the uh, frames of the photos tilted. One complains about it because the train passed by or a truck passed by and shook the house.
Hmm.
Yeah, then go over, make it straight your frame, and
Hmm.
for next train to come or next truck to come, you secure it that it doesn't fall. A simple way
Hmm.
like that.
Absolutely.
So if you get in a habit, in a
Hmm.
simple way, to take responsibility
Hmm.
of taking care of the complaint.
Hmm.
Often we don't take time. Often we say, I don't care if others don't see it. I don't have to see it, and walk away because of laziness, inbuilt laziness sometimes. It
Hmm.
happened to me in Mauritius. I was
Hmm.
vacationing in Mauritius with my sister.
Hmm.
And the first day we arrived, over a coffee, uh, the waiter gets curious, wants to know what I do in Switzerland, etc., because I'm not a white skinned person, but I'm different. That was his.
Right.
So he wanted to know, he was curious. So I
Hmm.
told him what my profession is, healthcare.
Hmm.
And then
Hmm.
he says, I asked him, what do you do with your old and sick people here? So he said, we
Hmm.
send them to ashram. Now,
Hmm.
ashram
Uh,
is a big word for me.
right.
I said, oh, and where are the ashrams? Because I have a background of
Hmm.
Pune ashram in my life. Immediately, I must go see it. So I
Hmm.
told my sister, I quickly finished my coffee. I said to sister, the man says it is 250 meters from the hotel is one
Hmm.
ashram or three ashrams there. So I
Right.
go there.
Hmm.
Uh, she said, okay, and I went and I was
Hmm.
horrified. I was
Hmm.
horrified. I could not enjoy my vacation uh, at the condition of it. Then I come
Hmm.
back and all my team wants to know
Hmm.
what is, how was Mauritius? And I said I could not enjoy it. I tell them the reality. And then I said, I have to
Hmm.
do something. If I'm going to talk about it, I must do something.
Hmm.
My sister was not very happy because I was already 65-year-old.
Hmm.
And she said, at your age, you're going to take more responsibility. No, that was
Hmm.
her uh, answer to me. And
Hmm.
I said, look, Mary, if I don't do it, I can't talk about it. And I want to talk about it because people must know the condition
Hmm.
that these poor old people are in.
Right.
You do what you want to do. I said, that's all I needed.
Hmm.
And few weeks later, I was gone. It took me
Hmm.
to set it up a little longer because of the bureaucracy,
Hmm.
but one doesn't avoid. But it is running now for last 5 years.
Right. And I remember your sister also helped you later on.
Yeah, she came with me. And,
Yeah.
they all help me whenever I feel that I'm being
Hmm.
stupid doing things
Hmm.
like this.
Being the youngest in the family among the siblings does has
Right.
its own. Yeah.
And they think I'm still 5-year-old stupid little girl. And that's nice also.
So who runs the ashram now in Mauritius?
Tim, I trained my
Okay.
team myself
Okay.
and I gave them my guidelines of my values. And
Hmm.
I also made it very clear if these
Hmm.
values are not followed, I
Hmm.
can not be very nice then. I would have to tell you to leave the premises.
Absolutely. And
And
yeah.
and it works. I was just there days back and it
Hmm.
functions well.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Uh,
Actually, one more part of your life was, when you were working as a translator in Portugal, in fact. And in your terms, was it Portugal as a
yes,
translator?
yeah,
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
knowing the language.
And in your language, to be it, to make it more optimistic, what were your learnings? In fact, I'll not tell it was a difficult life because you won't like to call it a difficult life. You faced that situation also. And from there to opening up two ashrams in Switzerland, in fact. How was that journey like, in fact?
It has been a wonderful journey.
Hmm,
I left India at an early age to
hmm,
study architecture, but I could not get in it because at that time I didn't speak English at all or understood
hmm,
English at all.
hmm,
And then I went to my real heart book, that was the fine arts.
hmm,
And I
hmm,
went in New Jersey to study fine arts. Then I met up
hmm,
with my first husband, fell in love with him.
hmm,
And we met Bhagwan during the time of finishing the school.
hmm,
And I never went back because I had an attitude, I don't need anyone to tell me that I'm qualified.
hmm,
It was again crazy notion in the head.
hmm,
And with me, it worked. It was okay because when I came to India, I met Bhagwan and I
hmm.
didn't leave him till 1980.
Right. Hmm,
So, and after meeting Bhagwan, um, education took totally different mode
hmm,
where education made fun, a lot of fun
hmm,
to learn because you learn from life. Living around Bhagwan gave a
hmm,
totally new dimension to education. And my
hmm,
father had said something like that at a
hmm,
very young age. He said, what you will learn from this man,
hmm,
you will not learn 5 lifetimes in university.
hmm,
And how true.
hmm. Absolutely. No, in fact, Sheila, you are an extremely strong woman, and full with positivity, a go-getter even at a very young age as yours today. You are as young as before, in fact, and I'm sure that rubs on to a lot of people who listen to you, in fact, and we're really proud of you. Uh,
Thank you.
you know, uh, and this 45 minutes is a too shorter time, but I know your friends are waiting for you. I do not want to come between your friends and yourself. They are a wonderful bunch of people. I'm managing one of them at my place in Pune. My father is also suffering from Alzheimer, and I know
Okay.
how it is having 17 friends of yours, and being with them, and I'm sure they must be missing you. But we would like to hear from you about your innumerable experiences and learnings of your life. And for the audience, Ma Anand Sheela has agreed to talk to us again on 18th of December. Uh, and she will speak, you'll speak more about her life as a daughter, as a personal secretary, and as a caregiver, and about the 18 rules, which you have mentioned in your book, By My Own Rules. We want to really know more about it, in fact. uh, thank you very much, Manan Sheila, for your time, and we would love to see you again. Harmeet, could you take it over from here?
Yes, sir. Ma'am, that was an amazing session. We got to learn a lot about your life from your own words. Our audience has a few questions for you. The first one being, are you a believer in destiny? Do you believe in the fact that every person is going through life following a particular destination? Do people have a higher purpose or destiny?
I believe in life. I believe in things I can touch and feel. And I don't have any engagement with metaphoric situations. When I can experience something that is the highest for me, to persuade me to accept or move on.
The next question, is that you were away from India for a very long time, as you mentioned, a little more than 30 years. Before you came back, what was the thing that you missed most about India during that time?
My parents and our little farm. The love of parents and the way the simplicity we lived in it on the farm was so remarkable and so innocent. That innocence I missed. That protection, the care of parents I missed.
That was it from the audience. We would like to thank you once again for making the time to grace this event. I would like to thank our viewers yet again on behalf of Cedrus Wealth Partners for continuously supporting us over the past year. Ma Anand Sheela will be back next month, as Sir had already mentioned, on December 18th to discuss more of her experiences with us, and we really look forward to having you then. We also look forward to having our viewers next time. Stay healthy and stay safe. Thank you.
I wish you all the same. Remain healthy, take care of
Thank you.
yourselves. And Nilesh, thank you for inviting me. And thank you, viewers.
Thank you, ma'am. And looking forward to see you. Stay healthy and love you, Ma Anand Sheela.
Same here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hermit.
Thank you, ma'am. It was an honor.
I'm going to
Thank you.
log out.
Yeah.
Sure, ma'am.
Thank you.